All right, so I'm gonna attempt to get a couple calves here in the squeeze chute. Beats trying to rope them out in the field with the quad, since I'm not a talented roper. And my family's gone, so I'm gonna do it myself. 2 calves developed pink eye, even though we gave them vaccination. You know, out of 18, we had 2. It was a little later in the season. So we've been watching them, and I think it's at the point where we need to give them some antibiotics. We don't want them to lose their eye or go blind. So have 2 calves we're gonna run through here and see how it goes. Okay, so that didn't go so bad. Have some pink eye spray here. It actually might not be pink eye, because it's actually looking better from last week. We made some of our own hay this year, and it has a lot of oats in it that when we're feeding in the wind, you can get debris that's blown into the eye. So it might just be an irritation there, but just the same, we have some relief spray for the eye. I'm going to put an eye patch on just in case. The flies will carry it from one cow to another. Even though we vaccinated our herd, we want to keep it as safe as we can. So I have these eye patches. I've never used these before. Of course, I thought it came with medication, and it doesn't. So at this point, it's just to kind of keep it clean, and if it is infectious, to keep it from spreading to other cattle via insects. So get this on. It's got this sticky glue thing, and it falls off after a couple weeks. So the calf will be effectively visually impaired on that side. In terms of predators here in our area, we have coyotes and mountain lions. We have not lost any. Our cattle herd tends to stay close to the house. Calves, I mean, at this point, pretty big to potentially be attacked by a mountain lion. Certainly not a coyote at this point. This calf is probably 3 months old, 4 months old now. So, it's important to keep record keeping, accurate records. So, I really don't like the idea of giving animals antibiotics, but in this case, I do want to protect her eye and ensure that it's not going to spread to the rest of the herd. We do our best not to have to use anything like this. No, many large feedlots, they're including antibiotics into the feed as they feed the cattle, just because there's so many there and they're literally living in their own feces. Our cattle are pasture raised, and when we need to supplement, it's with hay that we grow or purchase, but it's all grass fed, as natural as we can. We're getting better about our fencing here, so we can start rotating grazing pastures more frequently. We're in Half Moon Bay, California, so it's a summer tried climate. So at this point, the hills and everything are all brown. So she's gonna get 15 milliliters of LA200, and I'll split that in between 2 shots. That wasn't the shot. The antibiotic is very viscous, very thick. So we have to use a large gauge needle, 16 gauge. Like to massage it in. It's a subcutaneous shot, so in between the skin and the muscle. And she's done. We've had a heck of a problem with flies this year. So the red or orange tag that you see in her right ear, we put on the calves. Their ears are small. Our cows actually get one on either side, and it really helps with the fly control, keep them away from their eyes. But just the same, we have some fly spray, or I'll spray on the body to keep the flies at bay. I'm very much new to cattle raising. I've been around it, but not in any great detail. I grew up where my family just left the cows on the hill. We brought them in, took them to the auction, really trying to up our genetics and the health and keeping track of them. We usually run them through 2 to 3 times a year for vaccination purposes and just general health checks, and of course castrating. She's done. She can't see on this side. All right, one more. Yeah. I really like this self-locking gate. I can do a lot of this stuff by myself. So this is a calf we actually roped out in the field, and we opened up the package, realized the medicine wasn't there, so we just gave it the squirt in the eye. So I'm gonna lift up this patch and see how it looks. I'll be darned, it's actually healed. So I'm thinking maybe it's not pink eye. Let's see if I can flip this around here. Is it gonna let me? It's not gonna let me. So if you look, it's like this little, if you call it granulola on the eye there. But otherwise, he's healed up. So I'm a believer in these patches. I think they make a huge difference here. I'm gonna re-glue that patch just to give it a little bit more time and see how that goes there. Get the camera back. I wasn't really set up for this, just kind of an impromptu thing today. So I'm not going to give this one a shot of antibiotics. Obviously nobody wants antibiotics in their food, so the more we can keep out of that streamline, the better. There is a withdrawal period. I think offhand it's like 21 days by the time it clears the system. Obviously these are Angus beef cattle. They will go for food. And but the actual butcher time is probably not for another 18 months. So it's plenty of time for the antibiotics to be out of the system. But not needed. We'll just go ahead and re-glue the patch to protect it and let it go free. Very, very pleased with this. This stuff is really sticky. I've never been known to be the neatest person. Go ahead and give it some fly spray and we'll let it go. When rounding up the cattle, it's always hard to just get the one you want. Usually you have to bring them in as a herd and start culling them. I did everything myself this morning. We have 20 cows in a bowl, and then we have 18 calves. So I was actually pretty stoked that I was able to get them all in. I got the 2 that I needed. There's one other calf I'm just gonna run through here. I couldn't quite separate. I didn't want to risk losing the 2 that I needed to address their medical issues for the simplicity of just getting rid of the one there. But anyway, first video posted on the YouTube where I actually addressed the camera here. Shout out to Just a Few Acres Farm. If you haven't watched that channel, amazing. Very inspirational. Pete and his family do a wonderful job, and enjoy their content, and hope that myself and my family can contribute out there in the YouTube space for those of you who are interested in small farms, animal husbandry, and I hope you all are having a great weekend.